individual characters, they really have always come across as two of the biggest crowd pleasers. You can really get the crowd behind them. Francisco has really struggled by his own standards the last couple of seasons, hasn't really had the results that he was known for. But you never can count him out. He's certainly one of the most prodigious talents the game has ever produced, and he's fantastically exciting when he's on form. Rodney Morris, however, of course, the defending champion of this tournament, came over here, really wowed the Polish fans last year by winning the title.
Yeah, made a lot of fans in the process, did Morris. And he's playing very, very good. Been doing a lot of traveling. Played in an event a couple of weeks ago in New York. He was in Vegas and went straight from Vegas to the Midwest Open in Chicago. And here he finds himself in Europe now. And look at how quick he goes through the motions. Just like that, the defending champion is off the mark.
Yeah, the first couple of matches we've seen here, both players, or all four players so far, were taking a little bit of time in getting to terms with the table. No such problems from Rodney Morris. Straight into a break and run.
The first rack goes to Rodney Morris in ideal fashion, just what the doctor would have ordered for him. Break and finish. And it's going to be Bustamante now to try and respond to that little effort from Morris. All of 1 minute and 45 seconds, and just like that, he's the first to bother the scorekeeper.
Well, we'll now get a chance to take our first look at Francisco's break during this tournament. He's known for having one of the biggest breaks in the game. But occasionally, if a table is playing well, you'll see him take the power out of that and sacrifice it for control of the cue ball. But it looks like he's working himself up for a big break.
Yeah, he hands out sets of earplugs in the crowd when Bustamante comes to the table to break. Explosive. Another look at it. Swings that arm and crushes that cue ball.
And he really has to count himself quite unlucky on that break. There was excellent control on the cue ball. A ball down, but unfortunately the yellow one has landed tight up against the top cushion. No par through to it, so only a push out for Francisco.
Nothing easy here for Morris, and he's got the choice of either accepting this and trying to play safe from this position, or he can put Francisco back in. And from here, wouldn't surprise me to see him let Francisco come right back to the table. And the nod of the head brings Bustamante out of his chair. So we'll see what he had in mind right here, John.
Well, that's right, because it certainly wouldn't have been just a loose push out from Francisco. He would have had a shot in mind for this. Just going for the slow safety. And I think he's okay. I don't think Rodney can get through to the left-hand side of this yellow one. He's taking a long look at it. It's very tight if he can. I'm not sure there's a great deal he could do with it, even if he can get through to the left-hand side of this. Well, he's going for it, so he's just going to try and take it. Oh, well, he could see an awful lot more of the yellow one than I thought there, and tried the bank into the right-hand side.
And he's left the very same bank shot for Francisco Bustamante, and it won't surprise me whatsoever. I consider Francisco one of the best bankers in the game. Right where he's bridging, that pocket should be accepting the one. Well, didn't intend cannoning into the two, so if he's going to attack from this position, he's going to have to try and find a pocket to slot that two into, but one more look.
Yeah, you can see the cue ball there coming around in contact with the 9, meant that he hasn't got shape on the blue 2. Choice of another bank into the either side pocket or the corner pocket here.
Yeah, I don't think so. This is going to be a thin clip running for cover.
Yeah, you're right, Jim, trying to hide in behind the 8. And that looks like it's nicely played, very nicely played from Francisco Bustamante.
Rodney Morris won his rack on the break.
I'm not sure how much mileage there really is in Rodney trying to escape from this. He may well elect to try and tie up another couple of balls. Even if he escapes from the snooker, there's with there being no other balls around the blue 2 and there being such a long distance really off of a couple of cushions to make the escape, there's every chance he's going to set it up if he does make contact. So
looks like he's looking at the one cushion escape between the 6 and the 8, or is he trying to weigh it up around the angles where he just comes behind the red 3 on the left-hand side? So 3 cushions.
Well, I'm surprised.
Right-hand side cushion as we look, then the bottom cushion. And
that's what he's going for. I'm surprised he took that.
Wasn't a million miles away, but it's cue ball in hand to Bustamante. That's just how tough the escape was there for Morris. But I started to say that psychologically the advantage had to fall to Morris just because he won his in a cakewalk, whereas Francisco's had to battle his out. And his being this rack. This is the key shot. Position from the 3 to the 4.
Yeah, ordinarily he'd probably play the cue ball right where the 9 is, but instead of that he has to go in behind the green 6. Doesn't want to contact. Well, he's got the contact, but he's okay.
You've just seen his good friend and countryman Alex Pagulayan win his first match against Thomas Engert. And, you know, they had the comfort. Our producer, Clive Cox, arranged some local Philippine people to put a nice native dinner together for both Alex and Francisco last night. So they come all the way to Warsaw, Poland, and all the comforts of home.
Well, interesting shot selection there from Francisco. Normally wouldn't elect to take a 6 into the side pack, but because he's got nothing to do positional wise for the 8, then he'll be happy to take that shot on.
And the 9 to level it up. And just like that, 1-1. So here's Rodney Morris.
Well, yet again, wasting no time, Rodney. He has got a ball down, but a little bit loose with his control of the cue ball, leaving himself. You can see the break again. Oh no, he was a little unlucky actually. He got a kick off of the blue 2. Just taken the cue ball to the top of the table. Would have been in good shape, but for that kick. Nice bank, but now he's got a tough long shot for the blue 2 into the top left-hand corner. Really, position is automatic here, so he can concentrate on taking the pot on. And certainly Rodney is an aggressive player. I wouldn't expect to see him refuse that, and nicely played. Very confident.
Well, you would have thought that he would have felt a little bit more pressure this year coming here as the defending champion, but the way that he's letting that cue go in these first 2 racks.
Yeah, he's certainly looking like he's out of the 6 players in this year's World Pool League. He's acclimatised the fastest to the table.
He's trying to get right behind this 4 to play it into the top left corner, but he doesn't want to be straight. And I don't think that's going to offer him any rewards because he is very straight, and that means position to the 5.
Yeah, ideally he would have liked to come around further off of the bottom cushion and the side cushion and been up closer to the pink 4. He's not refusing anything though, Rodney, here. Now he's got a tough cut on the...
Yeah, this is the best he could do, John. Position to the 5 was never going to be straightforward, so it's all about this shot here on the 5, but what a confidence-boosting clearance this would be if he completes it. Well, I think the gods have smiled on Morris. Missed the 5, but Not a lot of fun welcomes
It really
Francisco back to the table.
No, that's right. It really was a tough pot there for Rodney. He was a little out of position on a few shots, but he appeared to be coping with the tough pots well. But that was just one too far. Now left Francisco with this Masse. Even if he gets this, he's not going to have a straightforward 6. Ooh, it's a long way out from Bustamante. Surprising shot. So really quite a break there from Rodney after what was a miss on the orange 5. Got away with it by snookering Francisco, and now straight back in prime position.
Coming back down for the 9. And Morris slots that 9 to the bottom of the corner pocket. 2-1 the lead now. He enjoys, and not without a few anxious moments, though, it's fair to say. And also a little good fortune. Just having a look at the breaks between Rodney Morris and Francisco Bustamante. A lot of body motion with Bustamante on the right, and minimal amount of movement with Morris, but a lot of control. And both of them generate immense power.
Well, we saw off of Francisco's first break, perfect control on the cue ball and an immense amount of power. So I don't think we'll be seeing any change of heart, even though he was a little unlucky on that occasion with his position. So it should be another full break from Francisco.
Francisco Bustamante to break, trailing 1 rack to 2.
Very nice kiss on the blue too there. Left himself in perfect shape. So could be looking at a tight game here. No breaks, no racks going against breaks so far.
Going to be a 3-4 combination. And that'll leave the 3 right near that corner pocket that he hopefully deposits the 4 into.
Yeah, didn't want to see the red 3 come too far up the cushion there, but he's okay. Just got to decide on the path of the cue ball to take it back up to the table for the orange 5. Probably somewhere just where he's pointing, in between the side pocket and the black 8 ball. And then hitting that point on the cushion and then coming across to the right hand side of the table. That's where he wanted it. I don't know that he's come far enough though.
Well, he's just overhit that. Would have liked that cue ball to stop at least 6 inches to 12 inches sooner than it did. Would have made this shot considerably easier, and now...
Yeah, you think so, Joe? I think he was trying to come the other side, even come further. But either way, he's not in ideal position. Left with a fine cut on the 5.
Well, what a great recovery. Superb shot there from Bustamante.
Was
yeah,
very difficult. He had to go straight in between that 6 and 9, not once but twice on the way back out again. Excellent control of the cue ball.
Yes, again, worth another look. A little bit of right-hand side spin applied to that cue ball to keep it between the 9 and the 6 for position.
Unfortunately, though, his shot on the 6 wasn't so great positional-wise, leaving himself more to do on the 8 than he would have liked.
And the story continues. A very tough 9.
Well, switching hands, playing this left-handed. It's a brave choice of shot for Francisco Bustamante, but showing his skills.
A key break-off time. Now for Morris.
It's lost the white.
This could be the opening that Bustamante has been waiting for, a chance to take one against the serve. As you see that cue ball just getting nudged into that side. Not a friendly kiss for Rodney Morris.
No, that's right. It did look like, although he lost a little bit of control on it, it wasn't going straight towards the pocket. It did take a little nudge at the end. And this really could be the turning point. First 4 racks going with the break. But now an excellent opportunity for Francisco to break that sequence. Just wanting to run the 2 up top left-hand corner. Take the cue ball into the centre of the table, or over to the right-hand side of the table for the 3 into the same pocket as the 2.
Still very noticeable how simple he elected to keep it there. A lot of players might have tried to play that 2 ball into the bottom left that he was cueing over.
Yeah, that's right, Jim. It was a very intelligent positioning of the cue ball that he had after Rodney's scratch from the break to leave that pass.
I don't know how good he plays with the rest, but we're going to find out right here.
Yeah,
this was Steve Davis or even Alex, for that matter, playing this shot. I'd say no trouble, but he's got to draw that cue ball back up for the 5.
That's right. We have seen on a number of occasions already in this match Francisco just getting a little out of position. I think he's okay here. It's going to be nicely on the orange 5. Touch straight maybe, but I think he can come through off of a couple of
Very noticeable there, the applause, clicking of the fingers.
That's right.
Traditional here in Warsaw to show appreciation. Now he may have to just roll this in slowly and play the long 6. Unless he's got angle, he can get up, play the 6 into another pocket.
He's got a little angle. He's trying to push around.
But he's not going to be happy with that.
His positional play seems to be where he's just not quite firing on all cylinders at the moment, Francisco. And this has been the story of his really last couple of seasons. He's not had that consistency position-wise, and just hasn't been winning the titles and everything that he was really expect to, because once he is on form, he is such an exciting talent to watch.
Well, he dominated the game in Europe when he was residing in Germany, and he's elected to move back to the Philippines. And I was talking to him last night, John. He says he's going to move back to Germany again, try to rekindle some of that success that, probably get a little flavor for playing the game again, excitement.
Well, maybe that is the answer, Jim. It is a change of situation for him.
Again, you hear the clicking of the fingers. Don't be surprised. Those are great shots, worth another look.
Yeah, very common in continental Europe. That is a form of appreciation rather than the applause.
Francisco secures rack number 5 against the break of Rodney Morris. 3-2 he leads, and he knows he's going to be getting his break cue and coming back to the table to kick it off in rack number 6. But what a great out from Bustamante there. Francisco's just taken the last 2 racks in this match to go 3-2 in front. But for me, the storyline is the shot-making ability. Neither one of them were straightforward. He lost control of the cue ball in both racks, a couple times in fact, and just knocked in very good shots to retrieve the situation.
Yeah, that's right. And I think because of that, Rodney won't feel like he's out of this match yet. He is down a break now, and Francisco has the opportunity to really underline that break with his own rack now to go into a 4-2 lead. But because of those numerous positional errors really from Francisco, I think Rodney will still feel like he's every bit still in this match.
I agree. I don't think you're ever out of it, given the alternating break format here. We're halfway through to the finish line in this match.
This is a tough shot here for Francisco. Not only the pot on the red 3, but the position, the shape on the pink 4, which is right back up to there. There you can see it, a path through to the top left-hand corner. It really needs to kill that cue ball dead, but that's what he's managed to do. Couldn't afford that cue ball to come any further out into the centre of the table. Well controlled. Now has the shot on the pink 4.
It looks like, again, the natural angle takes the cue ball off the top cushion and into the 5, so he's got to just dig into the white a bit.
That's much harder shot than it looks, the way he's played it. Exactly as Jim was saying there is a real danger of coming off of the top cushion into the orange 5, and he's really had to punch that ball just to bring it out to the right-hand side of the orange 5. An excellent shot.
Yeah, early indications, not only in this match, but in this event, show that Bustamante came in here assuming the favorites role in a lot of people's minds, and he's done nothing to dispel that, because it looks like he's been putting in a lot of time practicing.
I think his potting looks absolutely first class as ever. His positional play there's still a little bit of a question mark about, but there certainly should be no positional errors here to take a 2-rack lead.
That's what a little home cooking can do for you. Francisco Bustamante from 2-1 down. He's just taken the last 3 racks to go 4-2 in front of last year's champion Rodney Morris. And it's going to be down to Morris to stem the tide as he readies himself to break off in rack number 7. Francisco looking very confident, isn't he, John?
Yeah,
I mean, he's breaking so well.
He is breaking, actually, there's no doubt. And it's actually on the only real turning point of this game so far has been Rodney's break, where he scratched on his last break. So that's the one chance that anybody's had against each other's games. Francisco made it pay. He's opened up a 2-rack lead. And really, Rodney's got to put that scratch, the memory of that scratch, behind him now.
Well, we'll see if he breaks in the same area of the table. He was kicked into the side pocket when he scratched just over a frame ago.
Almost a deliberate kick to the side cushion there from the cue ball from Rodney on the break. I think he's a little afraid of if he tried to control the cue ball directly in the centre of the table, he might lose it slightly towards the side. So deliberately hitting into the side of the yellow one so that he would, almost like a hard cut break, at least to stay away from the side bag, but he hasn't left himself any great shape and didn't want that double kiss on the 3.
Now has he left Bustamante a chance at a side bank, a double back into the side pocket again on this 3? Cueing certainly at a premium, so if he did decide to refuse this attacking visit, for me that would be the reason, just because of where he's cueing.
Also, the cue ball, if he does take on the bank, could well be coming around off of 2 cushions and close to the green 6. He would want to try and avoid contact with that. Just slide behind it if he can to come around for the pink 4. So, yeah, it's not an easy shot, but I still think we'll see Francisco take this on. No, he's elected the safety, trying to hide the white in behind the 9. Not quite managed it. And that was a really tough safety to take that. That had to be so accurate pace-wise.
Yeah. I've got a feeling he hit that a little thinner than he wanted to, because there's no way he would have wanted to leave that 3 in any proximity to that corner pocket.
I feel sure that in other tournaments, when Francisco would have been at the top of his form, we would have seen him take on the aggressive option.
Rodney Morris's girlfriend trying to pull him across the winning host here in this match. Little divine intervention, possibly. This is the big shot right here. Just cheated that pocket. He won't be happy with that. And what's worse is he's going to be queuing right over top that 9.
It can always be a little difficult when the object ball is so close into the pocket, like that orange 5 was, that it's very difficult to avoid the cue ball hitting the knuckle of the pocket, and that's what's really caused a little bit of a positional problem. Just wanted to be careful queuing over a ball there with his shirt. Needs a little bit of luck on the brown 7 position. I don't know that he's got it.
Well, if his reaction is any indication, John, I'm going to say no. But a great shot on the 6 and fully deserving of position to the 7. But he shrugged his shoulders when the 7 in the cue ball came to rest.
He's looking
so let's see whether there's a path here.
That's right. He just wants to slide it by the 8 to see if it goes into the centre bag, but it's a tough shot to take on.
Did he try the 8? He might have tried the 7-8 combination there, because it was a full hit.
If he did, that would be a sensible choice to take on, but he's been a long way out, because taking on the 7-8 combination, the 7 would have hit the right-hand side of the 8, and as it is, he's hit the left-hand side of it, and that's left.
The one positive for Morse is that he's not left Bustamante the right angle. So Francisco's going to have to force this one with a lot of topspin. That's probably as good as he could have done. A lot of topspin with a bit of right-hand English into that cue ball. And this has every making of a 5-2 lead to Bustamante.
Well, early on in this game, it did certainly look like Rodney was the player who had acclimatised the best. A very fast break and run in the first rack. But it's Francisco Bustamante who opens up.
There we go. Bustamante all set now with a crushing break. He could put the nails in the coffin of Rodney Morris in this match. He needs a shot on the 1, and it looks like it's there. Great break off from Bustamante, already 5-2 in front. And if he knocks in these 7 colors, he will have secured himself a full 2 points in this match. And that's their mission.
You really feel like Francisco just needs a good confidence boost to get his game back up to where it was a couple of years back. And a good start to this tournament could see him on that way. In a little while since he secured a title. Never won this tournament, of course. I was talking about that before at the beginning of the tournament, how he would dearly love to win this title.
But he's hitting everything with a lot of conviction, too. There's a lot of confidence, not only in his walk around the table, but also the way that he's playing his shots. There's not a lot of indecision. Even when it's difficult, he's making his mind up quick and getting on with the business at hand.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Jim. First couple of racks he was struggling a touch positional-wise, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with his putting. Or his belief in his putting, certainly. He'll just carry on regardless, won't let any positional error get in his way, and obviously on the back of being effectively 2 breaks up in this match, and now just a couple of balls to secure 2 points. That'll be an enormous confidence boost.
And this 9 for the maximum point value to Bustamante. Down it goes. So rack number 6, an all-important rack win for Francisco, securing the 2 points. And now Rodney Morris is going to have to try and just play to slot a few more racks his way and hope that at the end of the day they come back to serve him.
That's right. It is very difficult for a player now, knowing that he can't get any full points out of the match, but he has to keep his concentration for the final 2 racks.
Francisco will be watching Rodney Morris break off now in rack number 9 of a schedule 10. It's the final match of round 1 action. Pagulayan already securing an important 2 points in his win over Thomas Engert. We saw Niels Fain and Steve Davis play to a 5-5 draw.
Train 2 racks to 6.
Wonder if there was a little aggression in that break. And one thing, I'd like to go check and see if they're all still round.
Yeah, it could well come down at the end of the group stages to the number of racks won, so it is vitally important for Rodney to try and nick at least 1, if not 2 of these racks. Just a push out here, though, because no shape on the yellow one.
I'm just trying to bury the 9 as well. Mission accomplished there.
It's a very fine cut here for Francisco, but I think, given the situation as well, they're already commanding a 6-2 lead, we may well see him take this on. The cue ball likely, if he does take the cut on, come off the top cushion and straight into the face of the pink 4, sending that down the table. Well, he hasn't. He's passed it back to Rodney. That's a very nicely controlled safety from Rodney Morris, stopping the cue ball dead. The one might have come a little too far, though. It has left a path through for Bustamante, and now he's got a chance to bury that white in behind the balls to the bottom right of the table. And leave a nasty snooker for Rodney. That's what he's trying to do.
Rodney just got down and pulled the trigger there, never even had a look at it. I think he's frustrated with how things have unfolded here. Coming in as a defending champion, never easy. There's always a little added pressure and expectations rise.
It's just Francisco just looking. I don't think there's the angle there, but playing the 6, the 1 onto the 6, then onto the 9, and then the 9 off of the cushion onto the 8 and into the pocket. A really complex shot. I don't quite think the angle's there, but if there's anybody who can make this shot, it's Francisco. Nah, clearly wasn't on. Just playing the safety, and a very well-controlled safety. This is good play. You can see very good conservative play from Francisco. He normally would have taken an aggressive option there. He knows that Rodney's frustrated from the fact that he can't get any points out of the game. So he's just really making it worse for Rodney, making him play on that.
Well, Francisco again with a chance in that wall of colors bottom right to try and nestle that cue ball behind. Morris is going to be fortunate if he comes to the table and he's got a clear path to the 1. Well, he's going to count himself fortunate, and I'm not too sure I'm going to like Bustamante's next visit.
No, that was a little loose from Francisco. Should have been tight in behind there, and Rodney's taken the opportunity to say, that's where you should have put me.
This is going to take some negotiating getting out of this mess, and I didn't see any slide rules over beside his chair. But it looks like he's got to just miss that blue too. 3 cushions.
If he really doesn't fancy the escape, he could try and make sure that that 9 is tied up. That's what he's just done. Thought too difficult to get out of the snooker, and even if he did get out of the snooker, he would almost certainly have left Rodney on. So played a deliberate foul. Problem is, I think he's going to be in another. He's didn't really manage to tie an awful lot up though, did Francisco there?
Well, no, that's what I was wondering after, John. I looked at the shot afterwards, and if anything, he's bumped the 8 more into the clear, I think, just to move it in front of the 5 and stop Rodney from being able to develop the 6. I mean, I could, go into a little more theory, but I'd probably start confusing myself.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well, possible billiard to make the 9 right here. And there you go, just like that. Well, Francisco's strategy did not pay off on that occasion. Rodney Moore secures the rack, 6-3. And Francisco readies himself. He'll be breaking in rack number 10. So our referee, Nigel Reese, sets the cue ball down and lets everyone in attendance know that this will be the final rack of this match. 6-3 already, the lead enjoyed by Francisco Bustamante. And the cue ball straight into the side pocket. Well, if he's ever going to not mind seeing that, it's now.
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. Ordinarily, that would be a huge mistake, but you can see it just almost turning around, changing direction immediately as it hit the centre of the table and going into the pocket there. But as you say, Francisco won't be really too much because he's already secured the 2 points from this game. Much better to do it on this occasion than if he were at 4 each.
He wants that one right behind the 7 because obviously his intent here is to get the 3 fouls. He's already assumed the first foul by virtue of Bustamante's break, and if he can extract the mistake here, and Francisco doesn't hit that 1 ball, Rodney's going to come to the table with an opportunity to play the 3 snookers and win the rack that way. Everything's in the open. Well, it's going to be his choice, John.
Yeah, he's on the 2 fouls, but I think, as you say, Jim, that with the table laying as it is, I think you'll probably see him take these out.
Yeah, I totally agree. If for no other reason, chance to get a little practice in, because the result has already been established.
Just roll the 3 up towards the pocket with the pink 4.
Well, that was a bit dangerous. The cue ball just slithering past the 8. And if nothing else, Morris has a chance to shake Bustamante's hand on a positive note, taking the last 2 racks, and will put him in good stead for his next match.
That's right, he started off the match in this sort of form, and he's ended it in that sort of form. Unfortunately, it was the middle part of the game where Francisco ruled the roost.
And really, that in-off into the side pocket where it was kicked in, that proved very decisive in this match. So it's a result. Francisco Bustamante